Hey, welcome to The Shine. Every weekish, we get together, we talk about your light, we talk about your shine, we talk about your greatness, how it's in all of us, not just some of us. It's in all of us. How you doing, Shay?
I'm doing awesome.
I'm excited.
First,
well,
I'm excited.
We've had guests before, but never was our first like live because we never did podcasting and microphones. We got Devin, we got Dom over there hanging out watching. It's official.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Jacob Hacker. The main man. We need like applause. I know. That's the next level thing that we have.
The little hand applause.
Come on, Devin. You don't got any of that stuff?
No sound effects?
We'll work on that.
So awesome. So yeah, we're just talking, just kind of catching up, and it's been a minute.
It has been. It's been a little while. I mean, periodically I'll see you here, at the office or the store. I'll see Shayna at Kroger, things like that. But we haven't sat down and actually talked for a while.
No,
I'm excited.
So let's get back to when we first met. That's been, so people don't know. So it's like we've had a history a while ago.
Were you still in high school when we met?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope. I was maybe somewhere between 17 and 19. I have no idea. So
I don't remember.
Yeah,
either.
I had to have been at least 18 or 19.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was when I started coming and visiting with you guys and got interested and into all.
But you started at we had a nutrition club called Best Break, I think. Now you weren't a patient first, were you? I was trying to think if you were. No. You started walked in. I forget how you got in there. How'd you find us?
Honestly, I think I was probably going to Verizon, and I was like, ooh, what's this place?
This place next door.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, healthy shakes. Well, I'm overweight. I should probably, focus on my health and wellness. And so I came in, and you were running the store that day.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And then you sat me down with Shayna, and we started talking and getting more in-depth conversations about the industry.
The next thing you know, you're on a trip to Vegas, not Vegas, but to LA with us.
Oh my goodness, LA.
Then,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I went to the extravaganza out in Long Beach.
Long Beach.
Yeah.
That
There's
crazy.
lots of stories from that Long Beach trip.
There's a lot of stories. Yeah. Nothing bad.
Nothing
just
bad, but
interesting.
Right.
you guys were walking in in Compton.
We were walking through Compton. Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience. It was pretty scary.
That's like young and just ignorance of walking around and
Oh yeah, because we tried to go to the warehouse.
Yeah.
We went to the old warehouse.
And it was not.
And then we decided to walk to the new one, and it took us on a
like
very interesting
hours
journey.
And hours of walking.
Yeah, we were
That's
tired,
awesome.
hungry,
That's awesome.
and
that's great. Yeah. So then now it takes up. Then we've kind of kept in touch, and I think at that time you were becoming a firefighter. At that time, weren't you? Early on, I forget what you did.
yeah, I was looking into
it,
public safety. Yeah, because I didn't really have a direction that I wanted to go with my life,
Right.
so I just was like, this would be fun to volunteer for my community.
Yeah.
And now I'm full time.
And now you're full time.
Yep.
That's so awesome. And you kept on the health and wellness, obviously. I mean, you're super fit.
Yeah, it took many, many years, but
Yeah.
it's a journey.
It's a journey.
And you're originally from Bloomville, right? Yeah. So how many people in that town?
In the village? Oh, goodness.
Village.
Yeah,
Right. It's not a
village.
town.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
not even a
town.
town. It's a
Yeah, I'm
village.
sorry, village.
Stoplight blinks after 1 a.m. I don't know.
400, 500.
No.
At that.
Well,
You think there's more?
I think there's
They call it
900.
900.
Bloomtucky.
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 Yeah.
So 900, yeah. So 1,000 people. But so that's the crazy thing is, so it's kind of like I'll just give you. So our theme kind of is like dream chasing. Like that's kind of like of chasing a dream. So I still remember when seeing you around and you kind of were doing your thing, and you're like, I'm gonna be an actor, and you start posting. You're gonna be I want to be an actor. I want to be a model. I want to do this, and I'm like from Bloomville. Like, are you
Sure,
leaving?
the cornfields are watching
Are you
you, yeah.
leaving? Are you leaving? And I don't
how
think
are you
ever
going to make
left,
that happen?
right? You never left.
from
You didn't go to
Bloomville?
I didn't move away per se. No.
No, that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
never you didn't go to L.A. and were a waiter and being waiting
Right.
tables and I'm going to chase my dream. You didn't even go to New York or even Cleveland or Columbus. You stayed here.
I stayed in the rural Seneca County.
So and then now we kind of pitched it. You were on the Mole, which is was a top 10 Netflix, I think #1 at one point, and reality show. And so give us that journey. When did you decide? When was that dream started?
Oh my goodness. How much time do we have?
I know. This
got
is
plenty.
good, though.
We got
I love
plenty.
this.
It was insane because I don't ever get to go this far back in my story to discuss it. People usually only want to know about the show or the last couple years or my firefighting, but to actually go
Right.
back and discuss where I started and where I come from. It's really interesting. You know, when I first met you guys, I was just getting into health and wellness. You know, I didn't have a direction where I wanted to go with my career, my life, my personal life. Everything was in shambles, as most young men are.
At 18,
I'm sure
that's
every
pretty normal,
man
right?
says, yep.
Mine was, I was on a path. Like, I knew exactly.
Yeah, he goes, no.
I figured it out like a year ago. No.
Yeah, I think I'm still figuring it out. And so I don't know. I just knew I was at that point where I wasn't happy with the way that my life was, the way I looked, the way I was presenting myself, and just my mentality. It was not okay. And so that was the biggest start that I got into health and wellness, was with you guys and with Herbalife. That actually gave me a good foundation of understanding how I needed to be with my intake of my food, you know, my workouts, things of that nature. Fit camps introduced me to exercise.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I forgot about the fit camps.
Oh, yeah.
We did, we did all the early fit camps,
And so after that, it just kind of projected. I started deciding I'm going to get my life straightened out first, then I can focus on, you know, my passions and things like that.
Right.
So that was when I started to get into firefighting, paramedicine, things of that nature. Now that takes years to get through.
Yeah, no, you were in school for a long time.
Yeah, I struggled. I am terrible at school. I can't pass tests. I'm great with skills and hands-on. That's my go-to. But when it comes to tests, nope. I was the bottom of the food chain.
Wow.
And so it took me a lot longer than most people to get through that. But once I had achieved all of my career goals, I was able to start focusing on my physical fitness and my appearance and my passions. And so I said, you know what? The only passion I really have is fitness. So I'm going to try it. And I jumped headfirst into it and started, after a few years, started to change my appearance and look a little different. And I started turning more heads. And that's where I was like, maybe there is something here. Maybe I can do this modeling and acting. I'm going to see if I can get into this.
So it was almost like unraveling instead of I definitely want to go do this. I'm going to chase that.
Absolutely.
It was more of an unraveling or an unfolding as you made progress, kind of.
And a lot of people will say that to me. They're like, how did you, even find this? I said, honestly, it's a domino effect. One thing started and it's just been going ever since.
Yeah.
I had no idea I was ever going to be here. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Right.
Something could come up tomorrow and be like, hey, we need you in this state.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm not
That's
coming into
awesome.
work, guys, And that was about the point where I was like, all right, I'm going to transition and try to go from the trades to the arts.
Right.
And it was very nerve-wracking because, like you were saying, Nick, how I started sharing on social media. That was probably the hardest mental game I had to surpass, because
people were busting your chops. I remember, like, your buddies.
Oh my goodness, they still are.
I know.
But at least
awesome,
now,
and now you have a little more of a right.
Yes.
You would post. I remember the first couple of posts. It was like a headshot or like a serious post of you, and anybody knows Jacob, like, you're like fun-loving, goofy.
Yeah,
busted,
absolutely.
that's like, hanging out, like, and all of a sudden you got this. I remember a couple of, like, this serious, you got your shirt off, you got something, and people are like, all right, bro. Like,
you're like, yeah, that's not how you act. It's like, no, but it's how I'm acting.
Yeah.
Right, it's how I'm acting. Yeah, you're missing the point there.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was so hard for me to get over the fact that, because I was nervous, I was scared. Nobody likes to be judged. Nobody likes to put themselves in a situation where people can laugh and point. And
and that was a big shift.
Yes.
From
you take someone from blue collar,
right?
Yeah, and put them in the arts. Oh, those guys are
especially
not easy.
like you said, from a small town. But like,
easy.
how many times did you put a post up and take it down before you posted it? Did you ever do that? Like, you're thinking, I'm going to do this, and then you delete
post it and then delete it real quick. I hope nobody's seen that.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's scary. And I still get nervous to this day. But now I've got a huge following and support. So. It doesn't really faze me as much now, but man, those first couple years were tricky.
So with the Shine, we kind of talk about what was it that. How'd you overcome that fear?
Yeah, because last week we talked about like what stops us from doing things, and we kind of decided amongst ourselves that it's fear of something. We all have a fear. Like, so how did you overcome that? Like that fear of making that jump from into the arts, where it's not normal for where you come from. It's not normal even in the industry you chose.
Yeah.
Like, how
and
did
your
you
friends,
get?
probably your circle of influence? Is hanging out, drinking beer, doing what they're doing, blowing shit up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a multitude of things. I had goals and I had ambitions, and this is what I really like to talk to like high schoolers about, because I've done
Yeah.
a few school
Ooh, let's
speeches
hear it.
before. And the big thing is, you guys always preached about your morning devotions or your morning motivation. It's motivational speakers are huge. I think everybody should listen to motivational
somebody.
speakers.
Yep.
Yeah. And between that and knowing my goals and what I wanted to have, I've failed enough in life where I was like, what's one more failure?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
success is just on the other side of fear. You
Right.
gotta
That's so
you gotta
good.
jump that hurdle and just try. If you don't try, you're never gonna
Right.
put
That's
yourself
so
in a
good.
situation to win and
Success is on the
succeed.
other side of fear. I like that.
Yes.
Well, and then when you said I failed enough in my life, like you just talked about how hard it was for you to get through school, for your medic school and your firefighting. So that was a real struggle.
Yeah,
and you kept going.
absolutely.
You kept going. Like you built that persistence kind of muscle. The no matter what, I'm going to go for it because that was what I want. I said I want to.
Yeah.
That was my goals. That was my dream. So it was almost like the same kind of like I'm gonna go for it, even if
Exactly.
it's hard, even if I fail, even if it doesn't work out.
I got to
Yeah.
go speak at Mohawk this past year, and because that's my alma mater. I graduated in 2011 from there. I might be aging myself and giving some info away there, but they invited me back as their keynote speaker for the sports awards ceremony.
Awesome.
And I got to speak to the students. I talked to the whole high school and junior high. And my big thing was, when I was a senior in high school, I was very large. I was in junior high, 283 pounds, and
That's right, yeah.
started to.
I forgot you were that
I was a
big,
big boy.
yeah.
I'm a big boy. And once I started realizing, hey, women like the way that guy looks. I
Yeah.
want to look like that. So I started getting a little bit more into my personal care.
Yeah.
But I decided to go for cross country my senior year, and that was the first time I'd ever put my mind to something and succeeded.
Wow.
And so that was a huge foundation for my life right
Yeah.
there, when I was like, I did something that nobody thought I was going to be able to do. I didn't even think I was going to be able to do it, but I put my mind to it. And then after that,
That's so
came
good.
the paramedic programs. I was terrible at school. I was on academic probation. I failed the national standards. I had to take the class twice, and then I
Right.
finally passed
on,
with
yeah.
flying colors. And so same thing with the modeling and acting. I
Right.
know I'm meant for more. I want to do more. I want to be more. So I just took the leap.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's
so
crazy.
all of those failures,
Yeah.
all of those struggles are like really what is helping you overcome all obstacles in life.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I love
Yeah,
that.
and those are the successful failures. We're not going to get into the list of the
yeah.
actual just.
Well, yeah, those are the
failures.
ones that actual like
Right, yeah.
yeah.
that made a difference in
Yeah.
my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know
That's
you
it.
did a few small things. I think like independent, like friends doing films. I think I saw. A
Well,
couple.
I remember. So we've had this space since 2019, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one day randomly where we got a call here, and it's Jacob, and he's like, "Hey, I need to do some photos."
Oh my
Do you
goodness!
remember that?
I
Like,
remember.
I just had, I don't know if your agent called. It's like, I need some shots, like ASAP.
Yep.
And you were around the corner, so you're like, "Can I use your facility? Will you take my pictures?" And
Yes,
so we
that was
were
for a movie.
downstairs, and we took some quick photos
Right in front
Right
of that wall
yeah,
down
yeah,
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Oh,
So that
yeah.
was kind of the beginning ish of that was before
So we get
anything
royalties from
happened.
that.
Yeah. When I do, I'll get you some. Oh goodness. Yeah, that was definitely towards the beginning, because I had just gotten through, some modeling and acting schooling, and I'd done like one or two short films, and this was one that said, "Hey, your pictures just came across our desk. We want to put you in our short film. We would love to see you. Can you get us some quick photos? We want to see." They like to see headshots, full body, side to side. And I was
Yeah.
like, "I'm not home." I'm like, "Where can I go?" I'm like,
Right.
"Let's see if anybody's in the office."
I'm gonna stop in. And
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
I think we did some iPhone pictures that day.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's kind of. So you did do some. So you went. So you had this. You started this dream started coming inside you. Like, okay, like wow, this is something I want to do. Then you took action.
Yes.
And you took some action of actually taking. Which I didn't know that you took
Classes.
some classes. Okay.
Yes.
How do you take modeling and acting classes when you live in Bloomville?
I had to go up to Toledo and Cleveland.
Okay.
That's
so you
okay, it's not
traveled
too far.
Yeah.
a couple hours to get some
Did that
training
for a
and
few
Is that a
months.
big thing in Toledo? I mean, you're acting in Toledo.
Yeah, like in
Cleveland,
the
I guess, because they got
Yeah.
Playhouse Square and they got okay.
Maumee has a small area where they do a little bit like acting classes and things of that nature. The hardest thing for me to learn was, well, number one, being like the only guy. And
Oh, wow.
they're like, "All right, we're going to teach you how to do makeup." I'm like, what's that? They're like, what's your skincare routine look like? I'm like, body wash. And they're like, oh no, we got a lot of work to do. But it was awesome because I got to learn like even skills like runway.
Yeah.
You know, I got to do a runway show and it was me and 30 other women.
Right.
So here I am handing roses out to all the ladies as they're coming on stage and getting to do
That's
my
awesome.
walk. And it was a blast.
Yeah.
But that taught me a lot to get into the industry. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I have a cousin who she's in the arts. You know, she's a professor out west now for art colleges. And I went to her one day because it was very nerve-wracking for me to say, hey, you know, I'm blue-collar worker. Let me wash the grease off my hands. I want to act and model, you know. So I
Yeah.
went to her first.
Right.
And I was
Somebody
like,
comfortable
smart.
that you
I was
know
like,
you can
who
talk
knows?
to.
Smart.
how do I even get into this industry? She's like,
Right.
build a portfolio and go talk to agents and see if you can get represented. And I said, okay. So she hooked me up with some local photographers. I created portfolios, and then I started going out to the local areas around Ohio to seek representation.
To find an agent.
Yep.
Wow.
So
That's
that's
cool.
a couple nugget right there. So that's the thing. So gets a dream, okay?
Yeah.
Takes action on the dream and posts it out there that I'm going to do this. So puts it out in the universe that I'm going to be willing to do it.
Risk this,
Okay,
yeah.
risk this. Get some education to take action to learn something. But then also, a lot of people don't do is you reached out to somebody that had what you wanted or knew what you wanted and got
help.
advice and got
Yeah.
help and said, hey, I need help. What should I do? Because I think so many people think I can't be successful unless I do it on my own. And you know, a lot of people think that, you know, it's on my own is what makes me a success.
Yes.
Where no, I mean, it's like you don't
You
know
need
everything.
help.
It's like go somebody, like
Yeah.
go to portfolio, get an agent. You know what I mean? Because obviously,
Yes.
you know, we're gonna get as we're
Well,
going.
that's
as
the
we see
other
this-
thing
yeah.
is when you seek help and you seek advice, a lot of people get the advice and then they're maybe scared or unwilling or uncertain about taking the action. So, you know,
100%.
so she said, build a portfolio, find an agent. You're like, got it.
Yep, let's try it.
Let's do it. Build a portfolio,
You know
find an
anybody.
agent.
Yeah. You know anybody, yeah.
Right. So it's like the willingness to
Be
be
coachable.
mentored
Yeah.
and be coached is huge. And
Yeah,
to
you got to
take
set
action.
your egos aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And I spent years, you know, when I was younger trying to figure out what I was good at. I think all of us probably
Right.
in our whole lives we're trying to figure out what is our best skill.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, what makes us better than a lot of people? What's our gift?
Right.
And I tried everything, but after years and years I learned, my best skill is people.
Right.
You know, I am great with connecting with
Yeah.
people. I'm great talking. I'm great with
You've always
others.
been that
And
way.
yeah,
Yeah, always. Naturally.
I am a people person.
Right.
I am the most introverted extrovert you'll ever meet.
Right.
And so after that, I just took it and I said, you know what? If that's what I'm good at, I'm going to see the connections I can make.
Right.
And that's all
That's
this
awesome.
industry is about, is making connections.
That's
Definitely.
the big. Well,
Life.
that's good. So a
Life.
natural
That's life.
life skill. Yeah.
Life is. I'm
that's
good at
true.
that. That's my connection. That's my thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's- You're good at connections.
I got a guy.
I got a guy.
Always has a guy.
Right, Devin? Devin's my guy. See, Devin's my
See?
guy. I got a guy.
My mom says that to me all the time. She's like, do you have someone for everything? I'm like, well, yes, I do.
Yes, I do. I have a guy.
We trade
gotta have
skills.
a guy.
Yep.
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 I have people ask me that. You got a guy for this? I'm like, of course I got a guy.
Of course, I got a guy. Let me look.
Always for everything.
If I don't, I got a guy who has a guy.
Right. I can find somebody.
I'll
who
get the
knows.
connection.
Oh,
I'll get the
right.
guy.
I'll get the connection. Right. That's a skill.
Yeah.
That's an important
No,
skill.
I think
for
that,
life.
but that's a good thing is realizing your strengths, looking at what is my strength and saying, okay, how do I, now I have this dream, okay, acting, you know, modeling. Okay, I'm a connector. I'm a good guy like that. Okay, I can build connections. Great. Right.
Yeah.
In that business, it is. It's not about being the best. It's having the right connection, having the right chance.
100%.
Right. So you go there, and I guess that's it. So that's, I don't know if you have any other question, but my actually is, how in the F did you get like a national, the Netflix, the mole? I mean, like,
Yeah. I mean, that's huge.
I
is-
remember you
It's
said, I said, how's that?
huge.
Because, you know, I don't, every time I see you in here, I was like, because I think it's awesome. I love people that chase their dreams, go
yeah.
against the mold that they're saying, hey, everybody's saying there's no way you can do that. I mean, everything against you. Like you said, you're in a small town. You didn't move away.
You weren't a theater
You-
kid in
you-
school.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
You
like,
weren't, you know what I mean? You had none of this stuff you had none of this
they
stuff.
might
and
have even
then-
had theater engine.
but I remember seeing you doing little things. You said, I got a thing. I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
And I got a thing, but
Yep.
you
Something's
can see it,
in the
and it's
works.
big, and I can't. I think you were leaving. I don't know if you left or you came back. I think you were before you went. And
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going to be going, and it could be huge.
Be gone for a few months.
Yeah,
It'd
I've
be
been gone for a
huge,
few
but I
months. I'm
can't
like- so I'm
say
like-
anything about it.
So then
Yep.
I'm looking up. That's funny because you said that. I'm looking up what reality shows are filming right now, and I didn't see them all, but I was kind of like trying to figure out like it's got to be a reality show. You're going away for 3 months. You know, I mean, you said it was, whatever it was, how long it was, but so how did that come about?
The hard part is you're not allowed to talk about those things. So I'd tell a lot of people, I'm heading to Australia for a few months for firefighter training, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Right.
whew, I had a good excuse there.
Right.
I learned
Make
wildfire
something up.
fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
Learned how to fight wildfires.
So how in the world, the good thing about being in this area, it's, this day and age, we're in, 2023, with social media, the internet makes it amazing where you don't have to go to LA, New York to actually get into the industry. You can do everything online, which was my saving grace. If we were, 20 years back, I would have had to probably go out to LA or something.
That's good. Yeah.
But everything is pretty much online. And so I was just looking for things to audition for. There's a lot of online sites that you can just go on and say, hey, I want to audition for these.
Oh,
Okay.
That's good. Okay.
And I was actually in the running for a show out in LA already. I applied for a game show.
Yeah.
And I actually made it, but that was in 2020. And so what happened? COVID killed the whole project.
Right. Shut down everything.
The good thing is, though, that almost everybody in casting knows each other.
Ah.
So someone from that show got contacted by someone from The Mole and said, hey, we need someone that fits these parameters. Do you know anybody? Like, oh, you need to call Jacob Hacker.
Ah.
So here I am in the swamps in Bloomville at my house, working in the garage on something. I get a phone call that says, hey, would you like to go to Australia? And I'm like, tell me more. Let's talk about this. Inside, I'm like, yes, absolutely. Let's go. I'll leave tomorrow.
You're trying to be cool.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
Let me think about this. Tell
Let me
me.
get back to let me get my people.
That's exactly how it went, too. I was like, well, I'd need to know some more. But on the inside, I'm like, I'll get on a plane tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
You're sitting there in Aces, and you're like, you can't. You just want to go all
Shaking.
in.
Yeah,
you want to go
right.
all in.
Yeah. Yep. And so they said it's a process, and for anybody who has been on reality or anybody who's tried, they know the process to get selected for that takes months. I mean, I had to go through interview after interview, psych evaluations,
Wow.
medical testing, all that, and it took months. And so after about, I think they said somewhere between 4,500 and 5,000 applicants, they narrowed it down to us 12.
Wow.
And so, yeah,
That's amazing.
it's huge. And of course, if you watch the show, what do? They're like, small town, rural Ohio country boy. We're going to put him in flannel,
Yes,
every
right, yeah.
episode. And they're like, oh, what's it like? You've never been outside the country before. I'm like, it's awesome.
Right.
I'll come back whenever you need.
Oh, yes, right. Sign me
We'll
up.
play the redneck card for a little while, I
Right.
guess. But
Yeah. So that was part of your role on the show.
So
was
is
the-
reality. So I
the
guess then
small
my
town boy.
next is reality TV really reality?
depends on the show.
Yeah.
The Mole, 100%, we had complete control of the game. Like, it
Okay.
was
So it was not
unbelievable.
scripted?
Not scripted. The only time we would have something that would be scripted is if they said, hey, you explained this situation poorly. Can you tell us again how, this
that
is
went, or
unraveling?
how
Or,
that- yeah.
hey, you said too many F words here. Can you
Redo that.
redo that? I'm like, sorry. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Although, did you see that they aired where I said one F word? On episode 8, I threw the F bomb, and I'm like, no, my grandma's gonna watch this.
Oh no. No. I didn't catch that.
I'm glad you didn't,
I didn't
because I got a
catch
lot
it.
of messages on that one. I was
Oh,
like,
funny.
forgive me, Grandma.
So, okay, I'm going to back up a second. How many auditions do you think you did before you got that call?
Just this week, I think I've done 10.
Wow.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So many, thousands.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Wow.
They say if you do 100 auditions in a year, you might get one
Wow.
job.
Yeah.
You could do the best audition in the world, and you could have the wrong color hair.
Yeah,
And
it's-
they could be like, no, we don't like him.
It just
It just all depends on
What?
right
Yeah.
fit the
Yeah.
like the mold or the character they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh.
The good thing about this area is it's very industrial. So Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, we get a lot of ad work. And so
yeah,
that's been a
okay.
majority of my thing is like advertising.
All right.
You know,
That's something I
think
know.
about that.
Yeah, because Ohio is. I mean, some of the most startups, not startups, but like if they're going to test General America, is here. Like Columbus is like
One
like
of
a
the
lot of
places.
places because it's a big cross section of what America, how it would do across the country. It's
Oh,
pretty much in this
for
little
sure.
area, so I could see that definitely ads they would want.
Very industrial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with that being a majority of my work, it's hard to get the acting. The acting is the one that's really hard to grasp. So
Yeah.
every time I get even just a little
Something.
I'm like, absolutely,
for it.
good
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, you never know when you're going to get the big break.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool. So, all right, let's go back to the mole because we watched the whole thing. We
Yeah.
were addicted. It was awesome.
It definitely
Nick
had that effect.
Nick was certain that you were the mole.
I did. For a while there, I thought
He was
Jacob's the mole.
absolutely
Yeah.
certain the whole time that you were the mole.
Yeah, after watching how they edited it, I thought I was the mole too.
Right, that's because I know they edit. Yeah, obviously they edit the way you want. I'm like, man, I think Jacob's mole. I think that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Now, how did they not vote? How did the mole not get voted out? That was my other question. When did that would have happened first?
Well, they had to set that up somehow.
Yeah, the mole was picked from the beginning of production who it was going to be, and if you voted for them,
Oh, wait, it was all by
the testing.
So they knew the test.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
The mole could have just clicked whatever answer.
Didn't matter.
They
They
wanted.
would
They would
yeah.
never.
test.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're about a year and a half from the mole,
Yeah.
so I can say she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't
Yeah.
watched it
Yeah.
already,
If you haven't
that's,
watched
that's
it,
on you.
Watch it.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It
You're
was
out, but you
so
need to
good.
watch it though. It's good.
But yeah, and so if you voted for the mole, that's what took you to the end.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. No.
But the mole's test didn't count.
Yeah.
And I really wish, because they should have done way more than 10 episodes. I mean, that first episode where we were in the Daintree rainforest, right at the
That
beginning where we
was
found the plane, beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That was awesome.
That was 5 days of filming, and they narrowed it down to 45 minutes.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
So we were all watching it, and we're like, what? I mean, you can tell that our producer, one of our executive producers, was the original producer of Survivor.
Oh,
So,
that's my
and after
favorite
you
game
start
show.
watching it, you're like 100%.
You can tell.
Yeah.
He's
yeah, Survivor.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. And we had so much
That's
more
probably why I liked
drama.
it so much because I'm definitely a pure Survivor fan. Yeah,
We
it
were-
felt comfortable.
Every time we would film an episode, you see us sitting down at the table with host Alex, and we
Right.
would go over, we would take our tests, and then we would show our phones.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually like an hour to 2 hours before every single one. We sat down for what we called family dinner.
Okay.
We had a big spread of food. Sometimes it was, depending on where we're at, sandwiches. Other times it's thousands of dollars seafood spreads.
Wow.
And so we'd sit and we'd laugh, we'd fight, we'd argue,
Yeah.
we'd point fingers and scream at each
Yeah.
other. But none of that got aired. There was so much more drama and so many
that
more
didn't-
connections.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't part of the.
Everybody had their little groups they were working with. Everybody
Yeah.
was conspiring against everybody, but
Yeah.
you don't see any of that. That's the
No.
only thing we don't
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
We love how the show went, me and the other contestants.
Yeah.
We love how it was aired, but we just wish they would have shown
more. Yeah.
Because they've got 3 months worth of film.
Right.
Oh, they could
Wow.
have done so much more.
So there were some of the tasks, some of the challenges where I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do this. Like, I think they might not make it out of this.
I like
Yeah.
I like the climbing one. I thought was the best one.
Oh, that was my favorite to do.
Yeah.
the
Oh.
climbing in the snow.
No,
it was
we
the
were in the
mountain.
Blue Mountains.
Yeah, the mountain.
Oh, in the mountain. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And they
okay.
you left they left one guy back because they thought he was gonna.
Yeah, we left Will at the beginning, and
big-
then
Yes.
we left Avery at the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
That looked cool though.
It was the most amazing experience.
How hard was it? How hard physically was this?
The hardest physical challenge would have been the Great Barrier Reef when we were swimming.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Remember we were diving for
Yep.
the treasure
diving
chest?
for the treasure chest.
What they don't show is we were treading water for an hour and a half.
Oh my
So we were
gosh.
in there swimming for an hour and a half. They put it down to like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so you watch and you're like, these guys suck.
They look
It's
exhausted
No,
after
we're
10 minutes.
exhausted.
Right.
But the climbing one, that was easy. I mean, I love climbing.
That looked
I'm
hard.
built for
That made it
climbing.
look hard.
It did, yeah. And then it was more of a mental game because you had to rappel, or as the Australians call it, abseiling.
Okay.
You had to abseil down and across and all those things. So that was more of a mental game than a physical.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That was my favorite though.
I thought the one that I was not the first one. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna get through this in the rainforest.
Oh, yeah.
They were finding the box
crates,
and
yeah.
finding the crates. Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, I don't think they're gonna do it.
Yeah, my team was underwater because nobody else wanted to do it, and we were the outcasts. Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pick this team. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go here." There's 4 of us who are like, "We don't care. We'll
We'll
do what
stick
everybody else doesn't
together."
want to do."
Yeah.
And so us 4 went down the river and got swept away a little bit, and
Yep.
ended up finding it
Yep.
on our way back up. Thank
Yep.
goodness.
The other one was the jailbreak one.
Prison Break was
The prison break.
best.
I was like, I don't know how they're gonna get out of here.
That's like an escape room.
It wasn't.
Yep.
It was. Yeah, that's
We're
why I
suck
thought-
at
we were terrible at escape rooms. We never escape, but it's fun. I like it.
We
I'm-
never
And if you remember watching that one, I was the first one out, and my team was the first ones out because
Yeah.
I did everything wrong, but still came out with the best results.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
hilarious. Everybody's like, "What are you doing? You made shift some type
Right.
of
The thing out the
board
window.
Yeah, I ripped up the
They
sheet.
ripped up the sheet. Did you rip the pillows too? Somebody
Yeah,
ripped
I
yeah.
exploded the pillows.
Yeah.
It looks like I murdered a duck in my cell. I'm like, oh my
There were
goodness.
feathers
I walk out
everywhere.
and everybody's like, why's your hair white? Duck
But you were
feathers.
certain that there was something in the pillow,
Yep.
so you're like
Yep.
tearing it up, and yep.
So through all
Yeah.
this reality stuff, any love connections there for you? Is there any like? Because I thought you guys were drinking.
Oh, we were.
That could be trouble.
We were.
We did have plenty of drinks. Every time we sat down,
Young people, they're all good looking.
Yeah.
It's like,
they had us on lockdown. I felt like I was in prison.
oh really?
Yeah, because when the cameras were off, there was very few times we were allowed to hang out or talk or be around each other unless we had.
Really?
Oh yeah, they had us on lockdown. We were allowed to go maybe like work out together or go shopping, get some toiletries, things like
Yeah.
that. But no, we had to have handlers everywhere we went. I wasn't allowed to leave like a hotel room. I wasn't allowed to walk by myself.
Wow.
Had to have a handler with me wherever I
Really?
went. Yep. A multitude of things. One, because we're foreigners in a different country.
Right.
Two, they don't want us talking about the show. Don't want us
Right.
telling each other things about the show.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
was
I can see that.
insane. Yeah. If a couple people tried to do the sneak out thing and go party or sneak
Yeah.
out and see other people, did not work.
Didn't
Really?
work.
Did not work.
Yeah.
Nope.
I would imagine there's been enough reality TV by now that they've all learned their lessons on what
What's
to do and what
And
not
that's-
to do.
and they're not- I guess
what
they're not
to-
filming that. I mean, that's part of some. That is a. You want that. You want that to
Yeah.
happen. It's like
That's
the Jersey
part
Shore.
of the
yeah,
right.
it's a-
Part of the some shows are about.
You should go into
that.
Jersey Shore. I think that should be the
Oh,
next one.
goodness. They asked me if I wanted to do a dating show, and I said, nope, absolutely not.
There's a girl from I think Bloomfield's like the hotbed of
Sycamore. Yeah.
Sycamore,
I
right
went to
by there,
school
same
with.
little small town.
You went
She
to
was-
school with her, and she was.
There's
on
three of us in the
she
same
was-
class who were on TV.
Are you serious?
She was
Yep.
on the she was the
Bachelorette or Bachelor or
But
something.
I think
I
she
don't
made
know.
her the villain. I don't know her name.
Yeah,
but
she was on. I didn't watch either of
the
them.
same thing
but-
is how they, how do they portray you? Because funny, 'cause we have a friend that was in. It was something like Mrs. America, like
Right.
a
So
like
a little
pageant,
older.
Oh yeah.
pageantry, and she was in it. And they eventually asked her to be on her and her husband to be on Housewives in New York. But she was like, no way, because it was like on this, the reality they would put you in because that's all about drama.
Yep.
They want the drama, so they would, they would have you in a room that's hot, don't feed you for 8 hours, and a bunch of women,
Comfortable.
and then put you in the same dress as another girl, and you're supposed to go some that night. You know what I mean? To
Yep.
cause
Just to stimulate drama.
to stimulate.
Oh,
drama.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
You're
Yeah.
already edgy, and it was like the whole
Yeah.
thing was like that kind of stimulating. And
I
then they
don't-
cut
I
it to make, like you said, they
personally-
cut it to make you look like you're the mole. It's
Yeah.
easy
For
by your
sure.
looks
That
or
was-
your, because you don't know
The way
like,
he was acting.
yeah.
or-
Yeah, the way. Yeah,
He's suspicious.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell like when the cameras are on how people act, and then when the cameras are off,
It's
it can be
different.
totally different. Yeah, we called ourselves, a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
Because we all loved each other, but we still hated each other. and,
Right.
it definitely showed.
I'd say reality TV. I'm a gamer though in general. Like I love games. I like board games. I like card games. I like game shows. So I love reality shows that are games. I don't love the drama.
Yeah.
I don't watch those shows, but I love all the game shows. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Have you tried
It's
out
a
for
whole
Survivor?
different-
They had a audition for Survivor. Up
Oh, yeah, in Ohio.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was up in Put-in-Bay. I knew that was going to be a disaster
Yeah.
to try to get in. I
I
said,
bet it was
absolutely
tons.
not.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
tons
No,
of
but
people.
I was down in Kentucky. I was doing a shoot for Four Roses Bourbon. I was down there on the Bourbon Trail, so I was like, nah, I'd rather go there anyways to get
Yeah.
paid and
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that
So
was
Mole,
fun.
you got no money. You getting money from Mole?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they paid us to do the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It
then-
should have been more because with as much money as Netflix makes, you think
I
they could
know.
have paid us a little more. But
Yeah,
it was enough for me to take off work for 3 months and not have to worry about my bills.
that's
so,
Right.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good. You paid. I mean,
So
Heck yeah.
maybe
and
no.
the experience. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the experience and the exposure and the
Yes.
Yeah.
is
That's
that
what-
how you got the Australian firefighter sheet?
it helped. Yes, 100%.
yeah.
You're not Australian.
No, but
How
I
you
can
get into an
act with the best
Australian?
of them.
You can act with the best of them. That was a great answer.
Yeah, so when I'm down in Australia, I have to get my accent. But
I love it.
I'd reached out to the owner of it. Again, one of those things where I took a chance and I said,
Yeah.
hey, it's on my dream board, thanks to you guys, my dream board to be in a firefighter calendar before I'm 30. And I said, I'm going to reach out to the people who have the biggest one in the world. And so I told
So
them
theirs is the biggest?
Yep.
The Australian
You're kidding me.
firefighters calendar is the biggest one in the world.
largest firefighter calendar in the world.
I love
Okay.
that.
All right. So.
And they,
Devin, I think you need to be on the Australian firefighter.
I'm really trying.
Okay.
we could definitely work something out. Yeah.
That's like a trivia fact. I like that. That's good. Australian
And it's all,
firefighters.
for charities.
Yeah.
So
okay.
everything, is for charity. I sent them my story. I reached out to them. I said, hey, this, and they actually did know of me from the show because it was big, Australia. The mole was
Right.
filmed here. Oh my goodness.
Right. So it's a big deal.
Yeah. And they knew me from there. I told them my story, told them where I come from, things I've done. And I got a message from them and said, hey, mate, give us your phone number. We'd like to talk to you. So they called me right up and said, we're actually bringing international firefighters this year. Would you like to be one of the 2 Americans? And I said,
Whoa.
Wow.
put me on a plane.
Yes.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
One of
Actually,
2
yeah,
Americans.
one of 2.
That's incredible.
So I was there with a kid from Florida,
Okay.
a guy from Michigan, which is funny because the firefighter they got from Canada. The firefighter they got from Canada was on Big Brother Canada.
Oh my
Are
gosh.
you kidding me?
Yeah, him and his girlfriend.
How crazy
And
is that?
so-
Yeah.
It was us
That's a
3.
picture I put on
I seen that
on our
earlier.
Instagram. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, that was the one the fire. I don't know if they saw that one, but that was
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
And the Australians took us right under their wings, and we were so ecstatic to be there, and they were
Yeah.
just as happy to have us.
Now, how long were you there?
That's so cool.
For that, I was only there for about 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah. Our shoot, so they have groups of guys who come in for about a week at a time. They have, all right, we're bringing in the next 5 firefighters. We're going to do stuff with them.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Next 5.
Yeah.
And so they do it about a week at a time. And I was there for my week with the other American, the Canadian, and 2 Australian guys. And
Wow.
did my week and took a couple days extra to hang
Yeah,
out,
to
and
hang
check
out,
some
for
things
sure.
out. 'Cause
You're going to travel that far. You might as well
Exactly.
stay a little
Yeah.
while.
Hang out in
yeah.
the Gold Coast for a while. And yeah, that was difficult because when I got that phone call, I was like, I don't look like those guys. I said, I've got like 2 months to prep my body. I'm like, okay, we're doing an intense cut now,
Yeah.
and
Right.
going
yeah,
hardcore.
that's a different level of
That is-
being ready and fit for
Yeah,
that
that's-
kind of model.
What do you mean those guys don't look like that every day?
No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. You expect it out of the Australians.
Yeah,
They're the
yeah.
big guys.
Yeah.
But no, that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life to get my body to that point, mentally and physically. But after I got home, I tried to keep that physique for a few more weeks because I wanted to do like a male boudoir session. I had a woman who wanted me to do a physical fitness photo shoot.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I got
No?
sick. Nope.
Wow.
I put my body to its limit, and that is not maintainable.
Yeah.
And that is not
Right.
anything.
Not
that-
Because people
to
need to know that. I
maintain.
mean,
Yeah.
it's a social media thing.
It
It's
is
like,
all
Yeah.
for the calendar. It's
Yeah.
you watch the celebrity actors who do these big roles who get
Yeah.
chiseled, and they say the same thing. It was hell, and
some of them ruined their bodies. I mean, some was tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, super tough.
oh gosh, who was Batman? Christian Bale. He's gone through some
goodness.
very
yeah.
like,
He's done some
tough things.
extreme roles
Oh,
both
yeah.
ways where he had to lose a bunch of weight, gain a bunch of muscle. Yeah, he's been extremely changed his body.
So now, just on a personal, are you dating anybody? Like, are you single? Where you at?
Oh man, yeah. I am.
Because there's a lot you're doing. I gotta go there, man.
Jeez.
I should have said
wasn't
before
gonna
we.
ask you
I
that,
should have said
Jacob.
before we started.
There's
I'll keep my personal life personal.
There's no
Limits.
unlock. There is no unlock.
You're
Where's the
allowed to
shine?
say it's off limits if you want to. I didn't
You
know
should
he
hear
was
the
gonna-
question I asked Devin. I mean, we get really personal with him.
What's your blood type?
Yeah.
That's why I don't have a mic this week.
Smart man. Yes, I am seeing someone, but
Okay,
the
awesome.
hardest thing for me when it comes to my personal life is keeping my personal life separate from my professional life
Yeah.
on social media because
Right.
people are horrible.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
People are mean, rough. And,
Unfortunately.
oof.
You gotta have a thick skin.
Yeah. So when I am, what you see online is just strictly usually professional.
Yeah.
I throw snippets on there, but I keep, my girlfriend separate
That's good,
from
yeah.
my.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, it's the same thing. Like you're going away. It's a lot. I mean, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
a lot of. I mean, it's a strain. It's
Yeah.
a lot. I mean, it's to go back and forth, go around, and also, I mean, like training what you're doing. It's like having somebody that understands that.
Yes.
Is another thing. Is like, I think it's key in almost any business you do or any in life you do. If that person doesn't believe in you and allows you to chase that dream,
Absolutely.
it's a dream, because that's one thing I think is, obviously you had this dream, and I think in other people there's dream stealers, right? There's those people that you tell and I guarantee you had the energy suckers, right?
Oh, yeah.
You tell them, I want to be a model, like, and they're serious. There's no way. Mm-hmm. You can't do that.
No, jealousy's an evil color,
Oh,
Right.
Usually
man,
people.
for
And
sure.
sometimes
I
it-
think that's
yeah.
where it comes from too. Is a lot of jealousy and or a lack of self confidence
Yeah.
in themselves to do that or to do something they really want to go for.
Mm-hmm.
So if
It's always,
you,
I think it's more of that than it is jealousy. I think it's more of you just hit it.
do you mean?
They feel they could never do that. And so when they're projecting on you, they're projecting how they really feel about themselves.
Yeah.
And how it's not about being jealous. It's more of like, that could never happen for me, and I don't want it to happen. And, it's not going to happen for you because, the jealousy is a different
Kind
way.
of
It's a more
Scared to chase their
projection.
dreams.
scared to
Yeah.
chase their dreams, yeah. So
And they
when
don't want you to
watch
succeed
people-
because that makes them feel, as I hate it, is they makes them feel bad about themselves, which I think is a bunch of BS, because no one can make you feel bad about yourself. You can only make yourself feel
And
bad
I
about
think-
it. Even
right,
like the
yeah.
online stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, being strong enough to say that, you know what? Okay, because my father taught me that. My lessons of my father were, like, is it true? If somebody says something about you, is it true? If it's not, what do you care?
Yeah.
Like, if they call you a name or they say something and it's true, then change it. If it's not true,
Yeah.
what are you worried about it for?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And also, and I always say this.
Hard to do, but
it is hard
Yeah,
to do,
it
but
is.
you also just
Mentally
eliminate
hard.
somebody. I think that's where social media is a problem now with kids, is
Yes.
because they look for the dopamine. They're looking for that, the likes, the checks, and it's important to a point, but then their value is based off of what somebody else says something about them.
Right.
So then now we get the edited pictures. We get and there's nothing wrong with edited pictures. I mean, it makes it look good.
Oh,
but
absolutely,
on the
but
same token, it's a point of
it's not real.
it's not real.
Not real, right?
And
So
if
just
you- yeah.
having the awareness,
Yeah.
Yep.
which is hard when you're like the high school kids you talk
So
to.
impressionable.
Yeah, right.
You know,
so
it-
getting them to understand that.
And a lot of them are struggling. And it was amazing because I was just happy to finally go back and speak to my alma mater. But the
Mm-hmm.
amount of students that reached out to me on social media were mostly like junior high females.
Really?
And they were just inspired. They
Yeah.
were, because a lot of them are
Yeah.
struggling and going,
Yeah.
when you're at that age, you're so impressionable. Social media kills everything, all of your drive, all of your
Right.
passions.
It's good and bad, just like you said.
Exactly.
It's like it got you to your dream, but yet it could be,
It
it's
can
like,
kill it.
Can
It
kill
can
it
kill it.
too. Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
get caught up into it, it's in life and everything else. If that's your value, that's your worth, is by what somebody else is saying. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And you get caught, and I think it's everybody can get caught in that ego part, right?
Yes.
Like how are you getting out of that? Like what are you doing for that?
Oh,
Your girl keeping you in check?
she definitely does.
That,
Yeah.
which
But
that's a good thing though. You need that a little bit.
You definitely
Yeah.
do. But I also think I'm guessing, but just your background and your upbringing,
Yeah.
like your solid foundation from your younger years, hopefully helps you.
Yeah, if I
Stay
would have
grounded.
had any form of the success I've had now, when I was younger, it would have killed me. It would have destroyed me. I would not have been mentally tough enough to handle it and
Yeah.
keep myself grounded. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, she knew the goals I had going into our relationship, and she said, "Go, baby, go, do your thing."
That's good.
Yeah.
And so she does help me. She keeps me grounded. So does my family and friends.
Yes.
They
Right.
I see your
they
friends,
still.
yeah, they still
oh
do.
yeah, you see it on my comments. They
Kenny's
just-
a big one too. Kenny's always
Oh,
busting your
Kenny,
chops.
yeah.
He ain't here. I don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
I think he's off this week, but
Yeah, he's one of the worst.
Yeah.
God love him. But it is hard at first when you have that instant success. It is easy to get wrapped up in that ego.
Yeah.
When the mole dropped, I was a celebrity for about
Yes.
a month. And now I'm just a nobody from that show. And I've heard a lot of people say that too in the industry, a lot of actors
Right.
where they had their taste of fame, their success. And so
Yeah.
it's easy to get wrapped up in it. And then you're just a has-been. So you got to work
And
on the
it's
next
so
project.
quick
And it
these
is.
days. It's
Especially
so
with,
quick
you
with
know,
streaming
social
and
media,
with all
yeah.
the
streaming just pumps it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Right.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
So networking wise, have you, like through the mole and through the Australian calendar, have you made some good connections networking to
Yes.
move forward in the industry?
Oh, 100%. That's
Yeah.
where I incorporate, my people skills.
Yeah.
Because the whole industry is all about who you know.
Right.
So no matter what I do, I'm always trying to make a connection,
Yeah.
keep in touch with all these people. It's gotten
Yeah.
me. That's how I got my domino effect,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
projected my career.
Yeah.
any big things coming up? Anything that's movies? I mean, is that your main goal? Is like I want to be in the.
I mean,
Or don't you care?
I'm at that point in my career, beggars can't be choosers. I'll take
Right,
what I
right.
can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it unfold. Let it unfold.
Yeah, I'm up for whatever. As long as the check's clear, I'll do just
Yeah.
just about anything. Not anything.
Not
Just
anything.
about anything. And right now, I don't have anything huge in the works. I mean, my manager and my publicist are sending me auditions almost daily, so I've always got something to continuously do. I just did like a small little cameo for a film that's filming up in, I think it's up around like the Toledo area.
Okay.
It's going to be an awesome little movie. It's the lifeguards. If you see me post about that,
Okay.
that'll be fun. But now I'm in prep for next year's Australian firefighters calendar
Oh, wow.
because I got
Nice.
invited back for next year.
That's
Oh, wow, that's
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that is so, how we never get done going over challenges in our life.
Yeah.
I went through the hardest challenge I've ever had was after the calendar, I took my body to where it couldn't go anymore.
Right.
So after that, it's like, okay, my trainers are like, we need to bulk.
Yeah.
I don't want to bulk.
Yeah.
I spent my whole life obese and I'm so scared,
Right.
Right.
Yes.
I've worked 10 years to get to a good point with
Right.
my physique. And I'm like,
and now they want
but
you
I
to
have
put
to.
weight on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just completed and finished. I'm roughly like 30 pounds heavier than when those pictures
Wow.
were taken.
Wow.
And that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Let
Yeah.
myself understand this is part of the process.
Right.
This is going to take time,
Yeah.
but you can do it. So I'm working on that right now. I just started cutting again. So
That's good though. That's a huge mental challenge.
horrible,
Yeah.
the hardest one ever.
Yeah.
Because body dysmorphia is real. Everybody has
Yeah.
some form of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I still
being careful,
see.
right? Yeah.
That's also, that's also what humbles me. I still see myself as that, young kid who shy, very large,
Yeah.
didn't
Right.
like the way I looked, and so that humbles me. But
I think it's
Like
great
Central,
for
you ever see that
you.
movie Central Intelligence with the
The Rock,
and-
yeah, yeah,
He knows
that's a
every
good one.
movie ever made. But I mean, we associate as a society, I think, a lot of body dysmorphia with females. But as a male,
Yeah.
to talk about that, I think that's huge.
yeah.
Transparency and just authenticity.
It goes
'Cause
back to the ego thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, guys don't want to talk about how jealous they are of how that guy looks better. That guy's
Right.
got better abs.
Right.
That guy's arms are huge. The girls are hanging all over that guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
you're taught. I mean,
Right.
same thing. You're taught health is abs, which is so untrue.
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's like such the most untrue thing in the world.
Right.
But people, that's what we're brought to is if you have abs, you're healthy.
Yeah, no, abs are nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's good to have a
For the
strong
camera,
core, but
For a
Yeah.
guy that
For the
has them,
camera.
I mean, a guy that doesn't have them, they're like,
Yeah.
that could be
They're like,
everything.
I want
you know what
those.
I mean? But like I said, it's a diet, it's hard work. It's like, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I'm not on that diet. Like, I can do other
Well, but also,
challenges, but that
he said
stuff.
his trainer's his coach. So you're not just like,
But it's just a
I
long
want to
term
do
thing.
this. You're following
Yeah.
a plan laid
know-
out by somebody who's knows what they're doing,
Yes.
who coaches people to get the physique you want. So it's
Every-
having a mentor, having a coach, having someone
Oh,
guide you.
100%.
Is,
You have to.
Right.
Everybody asks me, hey, will you train me? Hey, will you help me in the gym? Like, I don't like doing anything in the gym. I want someone to tell me what to do. That way I can go in there, get done,
Do it,
and
and be
leave.
done, yeah.
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 But it's like-
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Your burpees.
Yeah, but that's a pain for a couple of days. I mean, one day.
I can't do lunges. I have bad knees, and I'm like, you know what? You were doing all your lunges around. You were doing all your burpees around. I'm
Yeah.
like, I physically, it would take me a long, long time. I may be,
But it's just building up. It's funny because it's like I say, like the pain that I go through, I guess I do go through pain because of running and doing that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like diet pain is hard. Like that's something hard for me. Like I'm on a
mental.
90-day no meat because she said I couldn't do it. And so
Challenge
I said,
accepted.
I was like, I think I'm
Exactly.
gonna not eat meat. She totally laughed in my face, and I was like,
I can see it.
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, he has
Shayna's
no-
like, okay, Nick. Yeah. That's,
he
that's
just
cute.
has no desire to do that,
don't.
and now he's doing it for 90 days because I laughed.
I
Like,
ate, what I eat?
not-
I just eat something. What's that stuff I got?
Tempeh.
Tempeh. You ever heard tempeh?
No.
Terrible. Maybe I'm not cooking it right. Maybe someone here can help me with.
Why didn't you
like,
say
what it
you
tastes
you
like.
would do the carnivore diet? For
I know,
me?
right,
I
I
should have
know.
said that. And
Right.
if she laughed, you could be like, yes.
Yes, I can do that.
All meat.
And it's been fine, but it's mental. It's it's all
It is.
mental thing. It's like we're gonna do the end of when am I doing it? December, no, middle of December, doing the rim to rim. No,
October.
We're doing the rim to rim to rim, which is the Grand Canyon. You run from the south side to the north,
Oh, wow.
down back to south. Which I'm not in great shape right now, so I got
Prep.
a month to like prep hard.
Yep.
But it's just meant I know, but I already know like in my head it's gonna be 17 hours. Like I can get through anything for 17 hours. Like I've done 24 hours of.
Shayna's like, okay.
I'll
just pain.
be waiting at the
But
top.
but it's funny because it's like even like it's hard though like because I'm trying not to eat after 7. Like for me that's some things like for my health and sleeping and as I'm getting older like that's something that's important. Like
Yeah.
I know I don't feel good if I eat after 7, but I'm like it's been so hard lately. It's like I'm hungry. Then you feel like when you can't have something, you
want
want
it
to
more.
eat more.
You want it even more.
Yeah.
It makes
I've
you
been-
irritable and
yeah.
angry. And yeah.
But it's just but it's having that discipline that is good. I think the discipline that you're developing is great because that's going to happen and help you in acting and
Anything
whatever
in
anything
life.
you do.
Anything,
Life.
yeah.
I mean,
Trust the process.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
a good mantra for just about anything.
And
Trust the process.
the hardest thing is like what you were saying with your desires that you want when you can't have it. I'm someone who I learned I have an addictive personality.
yeah.
So
Me too.
when I start prep like right now, no chocolate, no alcohol, and no sugar. I
Yeah.
have to cut it completely or else I won't.
Or you
Right.
can't. Yeah. Right.
I won't
Sugar's
be
so
able to
hard,
commit.
isn't it?
It is.
Oh my God.
It is. I spent the last few months enjoying my whiskey and my bourbon.
Yeah.
And oh,
Yeah.
See, I could just eat. I could eat that stuff like I'm
Candy.
a sugar.
He's
I'm
a candy person. Mm-hmm.
I've been giving stuff up like forever.
yeah.
I learned this somewhere. They say like if you're going to get rid of sugar, start giving up. So I don't eat. I haven't eaten Skittles in 4 years. I love Skittles. I've given up Skittles.
Swedish fish.
I used to eat bags of Swedish
He's
fish.
candy guy then.
It's
Yeah.
candy.
Yeah.
Candy.
So I won't eat it. I just gave up my favorite hot tamales, which is like I eat boxes of them.
The
Then
whole
I feel
box
sick.
at a
Dang.
time.
Then I feel sick.
Like the movie theater
Yeah.
box size, the big one.
I
He'll
eat 2 of those,
Oh man.
like at a time, and then I feel sick afterwards. So I'm like,
No wonder
I-
we always had so many candy inspired
Uh-huh.
flavored shit.
I
Yes,
know. So
exactly.
I
Yep.
give up that, but that's good to get
To
off that
curb
shit. And
his
that's the
sweet
thing is like, having that discipline. I'm like you. It's like knowing, but it's like that's another thing, knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself and knowing what you need to do like that is like I can not eat sugar, but once I eat it, I'm eating it. I'll eat every bit of sugar in the house.
Yeah.
Like, candy after candy after candy. You know what I mean? Until I'm sick. But if I don't eat it, I'm good. I'm like, so it's either I'm an all or nothing guy.
I wake up in the morning thinking about chocolate. I go to bed I'm thinking about chocolate. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like, oh man, I get the addiction.
Right.
It's
It's
horrible.
a real thing.
Yeah, I wake up in the
Yeah.
morning, I'm
Well,
angry
sugar
because
is
I'm
so
hungry.
close. I just read a thing. Sugar. I mean, I watched another podcast. They talk about how sugar is like it's like cocaine. It's like in your
Like triggers the
we're
same.
addictive to food. That's
Yeah.
how we eat, and we feel like we got to eat more, even though we're not hungry. We want to eat more. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we still want to eat. It's like this that dopamine
Yeah.
thing. It's like heroin. And they basically
Crazy.
like because they were talking about fasting and how to fast and that was one thing. Like how do you get rid of cocaine addict or heroin addict? Put them in a room and don't let them have it.
Yeah.
Same thing as you got to do with your body. Is like you got to allow yourself not to have it and
Yep.
then get through that. So,
Crazy.
anything else on anything else?
I don't know. What else? So back to Australia next year for sure.
Yes.
That's awesome.
The calendar should be out within the next month, I believe.
Yeah. How do we find the calendar? Is it like an Amazon thing or it's a charity thing? So we have to go to their website? How do we
Yeah,
find it?
they do have a website.
Okay.
I will be posting links for
Okay.
everything.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
We'll get that.
Yeah.
Yep.
that'd be
Yep.
good.
As soon as they drop and they're like, "Hey, these are for sale," they'll give me personal links and I'll
Oh, good.
blast them
Blast
all
it
the
out.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Probably till next year. I'll
I
be
love
like,
it.
I
"Hey,
want to
here's
see
your
those
annoying."
all over Seneca County for sure.
I hope so. Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm sure your buddies are going to buy some and be hanging them up around.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the fire stations around the area.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
They might,
what
they
they're going
might
to do
get
to my
creative
pictures.
with them, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Dang, we're talking about chocolate. Can you hear my stomach growl over there? Whew. I'm like gurgling.
That's good. That's
'cause I
good. But
want
you know,
chocolate.
just like I don't know if you have anything else, but you know, it's that same thing. Is this? It's been a great talk and catching up with you, and you know, and watching somebody and see you grow from that young kid. I do remember you coming in and you know, and there was a lot of good stuff that we talked. We did the fit camp. We did a lot of like personal
The dream
development.
board.
The dream
Oh,
board.
absolutely.
It's interesting to hear that stuff come
Yeah.
back to us all these years
Yeah.
later because, you know, we
Well-
do it. We don't always know the
Outcome, yeah.
the outcome.
And what's crazy is you got to do your dream board because then you'll go back to it after you like forget about it or something, and you know, and you're like, check that off, check that
did
off,
that,
check
I
that
did
off.
that.
You know, I mean, the first few things I had when I started modeling and acting, the first thing was I want to do a job where I get $1,000. So I wrote myself a check and pinned it to my dream board.
Yep.
And one of my very first jobs was for Craftsman Toro and zero turn mowers for like $6,000. So
wow.
I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
I said, I want to be in a large TV show or movie, and
Yeah.
there's the mole.
There's one,
Then I
yeah.
said, and then I looked and I was like, oh well, being a firefighter calendar before the age of 30, check.
Check. Dang, that's impressive.
And I was
Yeah.
like, huh, there is something to this. Okay.
Right. The power of like writing
Putting it
it
up there, yeah.
down, putting it up there, visualizing it,
Yep.
creating it. Yeah.
Just always
It's like literally 3% of people write down what they want, goals, like 3%. So people that do that and actually put a visual together is even better. You know, I mean, I remember
to bring it into
to bring it
reality.
into existence. You know, what I mean, now if you actually would take action on it and look at it and say, actually, what you did, you know what I mean, but
Yeah.
take action on the things that you want to get. Now you're in the 1%. You know what I mean? And that's something that, you know, we've done for years of writing down. I remember I wrote my 100 goals down when I was in chiropractic school, forgot about it, and, you know,
Found them.
and it was like how many things that I didn't even think about
But you checked them off.
that I
Yeah.
checked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing just
So
to look
cool.
and go, wow, I really am actually moving forward. Because it's easy to get tied up and say, I'm not doing what I should be doing. I'm
Yeah.
not as far in life or as far in this career as I want to be. But then you have to look back and go, I have succeeded. I've done
all
some
the
yes.
successes. That's a good.
So many people would kill for what I've done.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Brought a lot of value. You know, here's another one for you, as Jim Rohn taught us.
Oh, see,
know,
look
there you
at
go.
this.
You are not paid for your time. You are paid for the value that you bring to the marketplace.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
That's an old one, eh?
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
You did.
You got all. You're
listen.
like a
I did
sponge,
listen.
Jacob Hacker.
He was my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jim
I
was
would
great.
sit and listen to
Yep.
his
Uncle Jim is great. If you haven't listened
his
to Uncle Jim,
podcasts.
Uncle Jim is great.
Not
Yeah.
podcast.
But
It would be
the
his motivational speaking.
Motivational
but
speak. Yeah.
He's just wonderful.
And he's like timeless.
He is.
The inspiration and the wisdom that he
Yeah.
gives is timeless and like relating to almost any industry, almost anything you want to do in life. Yeah. It's you can listen forever,
Yeah, he's
over and
wonderful.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just good stuff. No,
That's
but
so good.
this is awesome. It's been great catching
It
up
has
with
been
you, and
great.
we'll definitely have you back.
Yeah, I love
that's-
it.
You know, because that's the thing is like people gotta realize, and I think you just said something on the end there too. It's like we can keep on talking forever. Is like you're not content. You're happy. But you're happy. You're happy with the
Right.
process. You're happy with. Too many people are unsatisfied and they constantly chase.
Yeah.
And so the chasing, their life is a chase to the next thing, where it sounds like, you know, if it ended today, it's like, hey, you know what? I've done a lot better than you know what I mean, I ever thought. And I gave it my shot. I've had a great time. I got to travel. Yeah. I mean, people
I have
love
to
do what I
remind
got to
myself
do.
of that all the time.
Do you?
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's be present in that. I mean,
It's
think,
easy to get wrapped up in,
yeah.
I should be doing more.
Yeah.
I deserve more. I want
Yeah.
more. I need more. But
Yeah.
then,
nothing wrong with that.
Right.
no,
But
be
absolutely
present
not. That's
where
your
you're at.
drive.
Yeah. I believe that the gratitude for where you're at is what brings more to you.
Yeah.
But it's hard mentally
Yeah.
to not get sucked up in the lack of what you want. You know what I mean? Like I'm going for this and I don't have it yet, or I've been thinking about
It's like
that,
a
I
weighted
didn't get
scale.
it.
It's a tough balance.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a tough balance. But if we can get that a little bit of balance, you know, where it maybe wiggles a little bit, where you're grateful for where you're at, because knowing and believing wholeheartedly that being grateful for where you're at and what you've accomplished is the attraction for what's next.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. And driving, all the other things, like having the dream and driving for it and visualizing it and taking action and
You
all of
got
those
to.
things is, you know, it's not just going to show up in your life. You got to work for it.
Yeah, my
But
greatest
you're
fear
working for it.
is being on my deathbed and dying with regret.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants that.
Right.
And so I'm always just, you know,
Yeah.
chasing and driving. And
Yeah.
I'll leave you with
Be
what I
happy.
tell my students whenever I go talk to the junior high kids, the high
Yeah,
school
let's
kids, or
hear it.
anybody really. I always tell them that, you know, your circumstances do not determine your future.
Right.
Where you come from, who you are, who your parents are, your upbringing doesn't determine your outcome.
Right. That's so perfect. And you're like the perfect example of that, because
Yeah.
nobody assumes that somebody from Bloomville, Ohio, town of less than 1,000 people, is going to be on
National TV.
international television,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, I'm an international name.
you are an international name. That's
love
pretty
it.
cool.
I love it. Well, awesome.
so
Well,
good.
we're ended there. Thank you again for being on. We appreciate it. So remember, the world needs your light to shine. We need your light to shine, and you definitely
Definitely need your light to shine.
Love you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Jacob.
Thanks for having me on,
All right.
guys.
So fun.
Bye-bye.